Welcome back on this Weather Impact Alert Day. Our first current weather shot of the week comes from Rock Island. Our first drone shots of the season where it really, truly looks like a winter wonderland.
Most would agree. Others like, well, have you been out there shoveling?
I know. Please correct me. Is this like more or near the total amount of snow we got all last winter?
It's going to be pretty close.
Wow.
I mean, that's going to be something we'll see what happens with this amount that we have. But as far as it being the snowiest storm in November, for the Quad Cities, I think it was the fourth snowiest. In Davenport, it was the second snowiest snowstorm.
Wow.
Say that 10 times fast. So yeah, very impressive system that came through this weekend. And like I said, we're adding just a little bit more to that. But roadways are still going to be slick. Even though it's going to be a little, it causes the most impact when it comes to that amount of snowfall across the area. In fact, let's talk about some of those roadways right now. On Interstate 74, on the Illinois-Iowa bound, right around the bridge itself, hasn't been too bad, but there are some little slick spots, especially on the on and off ramps. So be extra cautious about that if you're going to be heading out and about. I want to kind of expand this picture a little bit more, at least when it comes to eastern half of Iowa and northern Illinois. And you can see how even with a little snow going on, we've already seen maybe on average about an inch, I would say, in many of our hometowns. It doesn't take much to allow those roads to be 100% covered, like we've been noticing in Cedar County, going up to Jones, in parts of Rock Island County, Henderson, and even points eastward toward Bureau County as well. And I think we may still see a little bit more of that magenta color continue to expand a little bit more in these next few hours. So that is why we have our weather impact alert heading to about mid-evening or so. So be cautious out there, and yes, watch out for those delays as well. Where is that snow? You can see where the more moderate snow is going on, mainly south of the I-80 corridor, moving its way from southwest to northeast. And you can see how the wave continues in that general direction on a wider scale. So we still have a little bit more of that light snowfall to go. Heavier amounts expected a bit more downstate Illinois. Once this moves on by, then we are promising a pretty cold night as well as going into our Tuesday. The end of the snow taking place by the evening hours. In fact, the last of those accumulating snowflakes will be ending around 9 p.m., leave behind a lot of clouds throughout the night. Fortunately, the winds stay light, so we're not dealing with any blowing or drifting of the snow, but we are promising a pretty cold night with the amounts expected mainly between 1 to 2 inches. Some local areas along Highway 34 could very likely be around 3 inches or more, whereas a much lighter amounts, under an inch, still expected way off to our north and west, with overnight lows dropping likely in those low to mid-teens, but with very little wind, not expect to see any dangerous wind chills. The clouds will hang tough throughout the first half of the day, and maybe going into mid and late afternoon hours, we start seeing some breaks, but still it's not going to be enough to help warm up our temperatures. Promising a cold Tuesday with highs once again around those low to mid-20s, very similar to what we had today. Then as we take a look ahead here, we get a little swing in temperatures, maybe around freezing as we get to Wednesday. Maybe a few little snowflakes popping up as well, especially more south and east of the Quad Cities. Then Thursday, that's where things will be bright, but it will be awfully cold, especially on Thursday morning. I'm going to show you those wind chill numbers in just a little bit, and then we'll try to rebound again by the end of the work week with highs expected in the upper 20s. A lot of clouds, but we should be able to keep it on the dry side. But after today, the focus will be on Thursday morning. These are wind chills that we're looking at, and we may be talking about minus teens in a lot of our hometowns. So this is our other weather impact alert going into Thursday morning as we're expecting those below zero wind chills. The best thing you can do is really bundle up. We could very likely talk about some school delays here and there, especially at those rural areas where kids have to be dropped off at the bus stop. So this is something we'll definitely be keeping an eye on in these next few days or so. Here's our 8-day tracker. There's that weather impact alert for Thursday morning. A little swing in temperatures that we see, but those numbers will try to make their way back in those 20s, and hopefully by early next week, a few lower 30s. Yes, there are some chances for some snow, possibly later Saturday and also sometime later on Monday. But too early to say, Shelby, as far as any accumulation out of those two waves, especially the one going into Monday of next week.
All right. Thanks, James.
You bet.